Sorry, guys. I think we're going to be a bit late with the presentation because the WebEx is not functioning today. I don't know. It's not working on my computer for some reason. I'm trying my best to deal with the situation. Please be patient with me. Well, there are only 34 people joined, so again, let us wait. Pause. Oh God. So, hello everyone. Hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Hello.
Gladly. Well, oh God, sorry. I don't know why this WebEx thing is making me crazy. It's not working properly in the mornings. Yeah, we're having such a problem. So this week we're going to talk about graphology. I think it's one of the most interesting topics in stylistics, in the course of stylistics. Last time, remember, we actually a bit discussed the graphology by looking at the lowercase and uppercase letters in poetry, and today we will be discussing more of it. Yeah. And one more thing, we will be looking at the morphological deviations, how the morphology that we discussed in the topic in the unit of lexicology may help us in the in the science of stylistics, because morphological deviations are quite many in stylistics, and they are quite helpful for developing some kind of foregrounding. So in order to get the defamiliarization stuff, many poets, they are using the morphological deviation. I hope you can hear me well. I'm having some problems with my throat. That is the reason I'm, yeah, thank you. That is the reason I'm speaking a bit in a low voice. Alrighty, righty. So, my God, right. So again, we are going to look at the graphology and briefly discuss what is a concrete poetry. And of course, then we will have a look at the morphology in poetry and the types of morphological deviations. So first of all, what is graphology? Graphology, it is the equivalent in the written language to phonology. Last time we discussed phonology, right? And if the phonology is conveyed through the oral senses and the hearing processes, graphology is mainly conveyed through the visual medium. So it's most of all, yeah, it's about visual influence on the reader. So what it is, we are going to have a look at the concrete poetry. So what is a concrete poetry? Actually, the term the concrete poetry, it was used and still used to describe different types of technique that help us to manipulate the text on the page. So it's about the poetry techniques that help to graphically represent the poetry on the pages. So, so one of the interesting things is in the concrete poetry, one of the techniques of manipulating the text is when the poem is mirroring. So it is set to mirror one aspect of the poem's meaning. So it is the example, it will be given in the next slide. It is the poem by Phillips Nicholson that is called If It Happens. So could anybody read that very poem for us?
I can.
Okay, so let me see who is telling. So it is Ajal, yeah, Edana, anyone? Okay, let me check. All right, just Sanyam once, right?
Thank you.
Okay, yep.
If it happens, should some madman press the button and the dreadful sirens sound, I shall, like many others, seek a refuge underground, but not in any bunker or subterranean tomb. I'll pass my final hours before inevitable doom in my comfortable cellar stocked with memorable wine, there in Roman fashion. I will languorously recline, drink the Dionysic springs completely dry, then quietly die. I think that it's much more complicated.
Yeah, the written and rhyme are quite different than the rhymes and the meter in Kazakh and Russian poetries, because it is the English language. Something is the written is quite different there, so it can be quite challenging to read them. But thank you, Sanya. It was quite a nice reading. Okay, guys. So Sanya read this very one, and as you may see, if you look at that very slide, you can see that Nicholson represented some kind of a picture here. So what do you see when you look at that very scope of words? So McIntyre and Jeffrey saw mushroom. And what about you guys? What did you see? Tree, yeah, Diana. Yeah, I saw tree as well. Anyone else who's seen any kind of representation? Umbrella. Oh wow, umbrella. Never thought about it, to be honest. Okay. What about? Okay, I'm going to ask.
Is it story about like death? No.
It is some kind of a thing about, yeah.
Because he's
the
writing like,
content.
I'm like a refugee. I need to find out the place underground, but not in a bunker somewhere.
Yeah, but now we are talking about the graphical representation of that. So that would be lovely if you guys share what you see by that very scope of words, what kind of a object or subject you see here. So some see trees, some see mushrooms. One person saw umbrella, hot air balloon. Oh wow. Okay. Right. So actually, Laura was talking about the death and some kind of a death thing. But in the very end, Nicholson is talking about wine. Yeah, he's saying he wrote that he just hide in the bunker. He will be in that very subterranean tomb, and he will be drinking memorable wine in Roman fashion. So, and what, in my interpretation, Nicholson wanted to represent the glass of wine here. So if you just have a look at it, you may probably see the glass of wine. Even though it looks like a mushroom, Nicholson wanted to show the glass of wine. I don't know why he decided that thing, but it really, if you just look at it quite carefully, it looks a bit like the glass full of wine, doesn't it? What do you think, guys? Anyone? Do you find it glass of wine alike, or it is something different for you? Hmm? Seems like you guys can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, Midward.
I think that the neck of the glass should be wider, should have been wider. But yeah.
All right, really. But I don't know why Nicholson used such a kind of graphical concrete. He decided to make a concrete poetry and using the very quite a long word as laboriously. Yeah. So it's a quite interesting topic for me as well. I really love that subject. I really like the reading such kind of poetries, that concrete poetries that are given in a funny, graphic way. All right, sorry. So I would like you, but the bottom really looks like a glass. Yeah, I do agree with you. Okay, I would like to have a look. Sorry, I haven't yet prepared this one. I would like you to have a look at the poem by George Herbert. It is called Easter Wings, and you will find it out. You will find the lovely shape of it. Okay, right. If you, sorry. So actually, it used to look like that. Can you see it or not? Nope, I guess. Let me just
Not yet.
show it a different way. So hope now you can see them. Can you see them? Okay. So this is the funny way to represent the poetry as well. So as you may see here, Herbert wanted to show, he, let's say, arranged the lines. So they have the lines having the shape of the wings, and they're called Easter wings. As you may see here, quite interesting, isn't it? So, actually, you can read it, you should read it like that, but mainly readers those times, they used to turn the pages sideways, yeah, that very time. So that is quite interesting that people, even earlier into, as you can see here, it says that it was printed in 1633. Even that time, English poets used such a lovely way of representing and presenting and demonstrating their art, their poetry. So this is the kind of a deviation that can be seen in a quite interesting way. So that is what I want to show. All right, let's. It was the PPT, sorry. So one more thing. The next one is about the work by the wonderful woman. I forgot her name, sorry if I'm not mistaken. Her name is Carol Ann Duffy, yeah. And here she also used the graphic representation, graphic deviation, let's call it like that. So what she wanted to say that if you have a look at it, the first 4 lines, they are written in the normal, like normal cases. Yeah? But in that very fourth one, you can see that the first beginning opening word is just is starting with the lowercase, and the final word, the closing word, is beginning with the uppercase. So that's what we discussed last time, yeah. However, if you look at the next 5th and 6th lines, and Carol Ann, she used the uppercases. So why she used the uppercases? So she actually wanted to show that those 2 lines are some kind of a newspaper headlines. So she wanted to make a foregrounding by making the uppercase letters deviant. Yeah, some kind of, she used the uppercases as some kind of a deviation here. That's a very nice way to use the deviation in the poetry, or in any kind of a song, or any kind of piece of literary masterpieces that have the rhyme and rhythm. All right, let's have a look at this thing. So now we are going to move into the morphology. So what is morphology? It is, as we have already discussed, about some kind of a analysis of words, analysis of morphemes, right? And the interesting thing that one of the contribution of general linguistics to the description of style, and to the style, to poetic style in particular, is the distinction between a word and the minimal grammatical unit that we call morphemes. So actually linguistics helped, in other words, linguistics helped the poetic style by making the distinction between the word and the morpheme. So so we last week we discussed the parallelism, yeah, the repetition and deviation within the word structure. So within the sentence, sorry. And this time, I would like you to have a look at the types of the deviation and parallelism within the word structure. So deviation and parallelism within the word, within the morphology is quite, it is being used extensively by poets. And also it's being extensively used by advertising copywriters. So that is quite an interesting thing, that even the experts at advertising, they use such kind of techniques as morphological deviation in order to work with the let's say make the marketing ways to reach your hearts and reach your wallets in order to get your money and to sell their product. So that is the very interesting thing about it. So in that very section, let's say, yeah, we will be looking at some kind of the effects that can be achieved by, let's say, playing with morphology. So the first technique has been proposed by Jeffries and McIntyre. It's an inflection. So what is inflection? It is, let's say, let me just provide you with the introduction first of all. So this is kind of a regular process, yeah, when the words are being formed by adding morphemes, inflections, morphemes, forms, yeah. And it is about the possessive versions of nouns, like saying dogs, dogs, or when we are adding some morphemes in order to represent the tenses of verbs, like play, played, yeah. Or when we are playing with morphemes by representing the comparative and superlative versions of adjectives and adverbs by saying soon, sooner, soonest, yeah, or far. No, it's not about far. Let's say, I don't know, you can take any adjective, talk and make the comparative one, and it is kind of an inflection. So, and that is very interesting thing, that inflection in terms of the morphological deviation, it is a normal process, and actually it is quite noticeable for native speaker readers. And sometimes you can also, if you know the language well, you can also find out the inflection easily. You can notice it quite easily by looking at the dictionaries, and comparing the meaning of the inflected words with the original meaning of the word. So probably now you do not really understand what is the inflection, but in my words, in my understanding, inflection is a kind of a morphological, adding morphological endings to the words that cannot be, sorry, it's not like that. It's like, you know, if we have a look at the example, let me just have an example, show you an example, sorry, from the different place. Here it is. It is not that one. Pardon, can't make it. Well, here it is. So this is the, I hope you can guys see it. This is the sorry, but the poem by Cummings. Yeah, Cummings. And if you can see here, if anyone could read the first chapter, let's say, I don't know how it is called.
Let me read it. Is it like the
Okay,
first stanza?
Laura.
Okay, so if everything happens that can be done, and anything's righter than books could plan, the stupidest teacher will almost guess, with a round skip around we go, yes. There is nothing as something as one. I guess anything's right, something like that. This is a great example of inflection here. The possessive.
Okay, so yeah, something like that. So if you guys have a look at the word stupidest. So stupidest teacher. So if we just make a good proper look at the word stupidest. So actually we don't use the ending est with the word stupid. We usually use the additional word must, stupid. Yeah. Usually we combine them with the more stupid, must stupid, and however, for some reason here the author tried to use that very one for some reason. He just, maybe because of the providing the rhyme, maybe because of the metric peculiarities, Cummings used different, he used inflection here. So he added the ending that shouldn't be added to the word if we talk about the grammatical correctness. The more stupid is the correct way of using the word stupid, right, in comparative and superlative ways. But here, some reason, Cummings used the word stupidest. That is about inflection. That is about using the endings, using the suffixes, affixes, prefixes, and functional endings in that very strange way, in the way that is deviant, in the deviant way. This is about it. Can it be kind of deviation? Yeah, it is deviation, Ashan. We are talking about deviation. So, yeah, this is about it. Righty, right. Okie dokie. Sorry, just sharing it. Okay. Right, and one more example here. If anybody, okay, I would like to ask to read, let me see who can read it for us. Okay, Adima Semitai, could you please read it for us?
Yes, I can read. The distant husbands lean across mahogany and delicately manipulate their market, while safe at home the tender and the gentle are killing tiny mice, dead snapped by the neck. Asphyxiating. I don't know how to read this word.
Asphyxiating.
Asphyxiating flies, evicting spiders, scrubbing, scouring aloud, disturbing cupboards, committing things to dustbins, twisting, ringing, wrist thread and knuckles, white and finger puckered. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, Azima. So, as you may see here, this is the kind of excerpt from the Thoughts After Ruskin by Elma Mitchell. And actually, you can read it, those who, especially girls, who are interested in feministic literature. So, can anybody tell what is actually the poem about, according to that excerpt that Azima read for us? All right.
It's about
You
like
can
husband like works and while the wife works at home, like something like that.
absolutely. Okay. So as Sultanat has mentioned, it is about the duties of the men and women. So can you have a look at the underlined words and can you compare the verbs that were used for the actions of men and the verbs that were used for actions of women? What is the difference between them?
For husband, it's infinitive, and for wife, like gerund, ing.
Absolutely. So no, it is not really gerund. Sorry, it was Dilara, right? But
Okay.
it is about the progressive tense, or as we call them, continuous. So here, Elma Mitchell wanted to compare the differences between the actions of women and men. So by using the progressive participle in that very short space of time, the author wanted to, let's say, focus on the cruel activities of women in the charge of domestic duties that they are doing every day, like they're killing tiny mice, asphyxiating flies, emitting spiders, scrubbing, scouring, disturbing, committing, twisting, wringing. So these are quite, let's say, cruel things. They are killing, they're asphyxiating, evicting spiders, they are scrubbing. So it's about physical work that they were doing, right? And for the men, she preferred to use the generic present tense. So she said that husbands lean and they delicately manipulate the market. So the words manipulate and lean are showing the, let's say, that the actions of men are not as cruel and mundane as of the women's actions in charge of domestic duties. So it's about it. It is usage of the endings, usage of the some kind of a grammatical and derivational, let's say, processes in order to make foregrounding here, in order to succeed in defamiliarization here. So inflection is not only about using the affixes in a strange way, as it was in the example of the comings, but it is also about using them in that very manner where you are in order to compare to objects or subjects or actions or some kind of issues, and the authors are using different affixational or just derivational forms here. So it is about it. So inflection is just about dealing with the endings, dealing with the affixes and endings. Okay, so it is the next one is about the derivation. Yeah, sorry, the the general derivation. So it is quite interesting that we mentioned that the process of so actually the process of derivation is quite less regular than the inflection in English poetry. Usually derivation, you know what derivation is, right, guys? Anyone remembers what derivation is from the process of lexicography? Oh, sorry, not lexicography, lexicology.
Deriving
What is the
a
term?
new word.
Yes, derivational suffixes, they change the category and probably the type of meaning of the word. And it is set to create a new word. For example, we have a word govern, and we have a word government. They are different parts of speech.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nastya, for reminding everyone what is derivational, what are the derivational suffixes or affixes are. The derivation is the process where we are, let's say, forming new words. Yeah, so it is about it. So mainly, derivation is less. You can meet the process of derivation less often than you meet the inflection in the poetry, in English poetry, as I have mentioned. So mainly derivation is used for creative purposes, mainly in English. And sorry, hope you can hear me. And so as Nastya has mentioned before, so derivation in English is the addition of an affix to any kind of free morpheme, yeah, to, let's say, basic morpheme, and it normally changes the word class. So if the govern is the verb, as Anastasia has mentioned, government is the noun. So it is about that very thing. Okay, and some, in English, some poets are quite well known for their inventiveness, and they are, let's say, in their poems, deriving new words quite often. And this very excerpt from the poem Spring Sunshine by Luce MacNeice is one of the examples of the derivational process that happened in that was proposed by the author. Anyone could read. I would like to ask Aidan and Roneva to read that very excerpt.
If it's worthwhile really to colonize any more the already populous tree of knowledge to portion and reportion, bits of broken knowledge, brill and death. Beat.
Thank you. Thank you, Aidana. So here, as you may see, we underlined the word reportion. Actually, this word can be found in the internet. If you look at the corpus, corpora, if you have a look at the internet, it can be found somehow. But if you look at the official dictionaries like Cambridge Dictionary, or I don't know, Merriam-Webster Dictionary, you will not be able to find that very word there. So the author invented that very word in order to, let's say, present his idea. Though, if I'm not mistaken, I found that word in the freedictionary.com. However, it has the different meaning there. So here the author used the prefix vre, yeah, in the meaning to do again, to the verb portion, yeah. So in order to make the to highlight of reportioning something. So this is the way of deriving new words in the poem. And unfortunately, not all of the words that are being derived by the poets have the success among users and become the official words that are being widespread and widely used. However, derivational process in poetry is one of the ways to do the creative writing, to do some kind of a masterpiece, creative masterpiece, in order to get some kind of a derivation. Oh my god, I forgot the word. To get the defamiliarization thing. to actualize the piece of creative creative literary piece. Sorry, I'm a bit ill. That's the reason I'm functioning today very well. Okay, let's talk about the compounding. So compounding, as you may probably remember, it is what? Can anybody help me with that? Okay, I would like to ask Adina if she remembers what compounding is from the course. Who's that?
May
May
Okay, sorry, I see it. And the first speaker, it was, who was it, Justine? No. Okay, that would be lovely.
I?
Okay, is it Ahbab who wanted to?
A compound word is two or more words linked together to produce a word with a new meaning.
Could you please repeat that again, Ahbab, because I am a bit afraid I could not hear you properly.
Okay. A compound word is two or more words linked together to produce a word with a new meaning.
Are you sure it is about linking words?
No, I'm about compound word.
Sorry, Ahbab? No. Okay, right, sorry. It seems like there is an internet connection troubles there. So actually compound words, they are about joining two or more free morphemes in order to create a new word. So it is about joining the morphemes together. It's not about the words. Yeah. And so quite interesting that, yeah. So we can say, for example, the word blackboard. So it's not just a word, right? That is what is black, but blackboard is a culturally recognizable item with particular kind of a use, yeah. And in that very, let's say, thing, that very item as blackboard, it can be used to teach, yeah, as the teaching aid for the people. And we can't say that it is the absolutely. So by getting two words, by joining two words together, we are finding out, we are creating absolutely different meanings. So it's not only about the blackboard. So when there is a compound happens, compounding words. So when the words are being compounded, they may mean something different. So it's not about the same meaning. It's about, the direct meaning. Usually the compound words have some kind of a difference in meaning from the phrase that was made up. That is what I would like you to remember. Yeah. So in the creation of new compound words, it's quite a nice and quite a useful technique for foregrounding. And actually writers who are they actually, that very compounding technique is being used by writers who are looking for both economy of expression and new meaning, or getting the new meaning. And I think, in my opinion, compounding is quite popular among those poets who are using the graphical representation of their meaning. who are working with the concrete poems, as Nicholson, for instance, that we discussed, the poet with the wine. Yeah, so it is about it. And the very interesting thing about that very useful foregrounding device, that it is it suits the poets and copywriters, advertising copywriters, who can take advantage of the very fact that the superficial meaning of compound words is relatively transparent. Yeah, because it is easy to see that it is made up of free morphemes and their meaning are normally clear, let's say. It can be interpreted in different ways, in different directions. And one more thing that I would like to tell about the compounding process, that the reader will be aware that the compounds often have some kind of an addition in their meaning, something additional in their meaning. And beyond that beyond the combined meaning of the free morphemes, we are like, beyond that very, meaning of free morphemes, this poses some kind of a gap in text. And that very gap, semantic gap, the gap in the meaning, is required to be filled by the reader. So it is a very nice technique to make the reader think about it as well. Yeah. So that is quite interesting. It's like when the authors are using compounding process, they are like providing a puzzle for the readers as well. So actually, guys, I would like you to have a look at the example, and then we will just stop with today's lecture. Yeah, please be patient. I know that it is the time for you to have a break, but just I will stall a couple of minutes of your break, because the next part of the lecture is not going to be proceeded. All right, let's have a look at the at the example by Sylvia Plath. You may probably know about Sylvia Plath and her talent. Yeah, quite a nice talent. Okay, anyone who could read that very poem for us? If I'm not mistaken, Arsalda was here. Oh, Arsalda, could you please make a favor to us by reading it?
Yes, teacher, can you hear me properly?
So we can. Thank you.
Hello. Love said you're going like a fat gold watch. The mild wife slapped you soft, and your bald cried. Took its place among the element. Our voice echo, magnificent your arrival. You
All right, seems like Arsalda is having some problems with the internet connection. All right, so
got you.
I would like to.
And reason your nakedness shadows our safety. You stand round blankly as walls.
Arsalda. Okay, sorry. I'm very sorry. I think Arsalda is not having the stable internet. All right, I would like you just have a look at that very lines. So one cry and I stumbled from bed, cow heavy and plural, in my Victorian nightgown. The mouse opens clean as a cat's, the window square. So here, the compounding as cow heavy was used by the author, by Sylvia Plath here. So as you may see here, yep. Say, so what does the cow heavy mean, guys? So it is the morning song. It is about actually The poem is about the hard work of a mother, yeah, and by using the word cow heavy, by compounding two words as cow heavy, she is implying that she's breastfeeding her child, right? And it is like the cow, like she's giving milk, yeah. She's providing milk for her infant, I guess, yeah. And it is being like very difficult for her to be a mother. So she is sharing the feelings of being mother and having that, let's say, having that load of carrying the milk in her breasts. So sorry for being probably too let's say explicit about that very subject, but I think you are old enough to discuss such things. So actually this is what Sylvia Plath wanted us to interpret. So she is here giving the space for the reader to think about that very context, to be able for us to describe for ourselves what is being implemented, implied by that very compound word. Yep. So I would like you to just have a look through that very techniques that we discussed today for the next seminar class. And please be updated with the Moodle guys about the tasks. I will be providing you with the tasks, and those tasks will be connected with the okay, yeah, no worries. Those tasks will be connected with the poems and with the probably song lyrics that you have chosen for the analysis for this week, guys. All right, that is actually the end of the information that I wanted to provide to you. We discussed the morphology and graphology. Actually, we covered many things. Sorry for the absence of discussion that time, because I'm not feeling great to speak a lot with you. And hopefully we will be meeting at the seminar classes this week and discuss that very topic further. Right, thank you, Rogus, and I would like to wish you a nice day, even though it's snowing and raining heavily. Have a lovely day, and those who are here, those who are going to be at the seminar classes, wish you all the best with the metric analysis. Probably some of you have done it, but some of you are doing it. And please bring your papers, your poems over. We will be discussing them. Okie dokie. It was lovely to see you. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you for your wishes. Bye.